What is up, guys? North Digital Assets coming at you with another video today. I just dropped a video on Bitcoin. This one's going to cover some altcoins where there's some opportunity starting basically now. There's some opportunity with a lot of altcoins that may follow Bitcoin up to that $26,500 to $28,000 range if it happens. Again, no guarantees. Everything's probabilities, and everything is what risks do you want to take, and everything is, does it hold support? And does it hit resistance? It's just support and resistance in waveforms. So we're going to take a look at some altcoins. I will say really quick that I didn't put in my Bitcoin video that I'm going to say now is this here is definitely a prettier pattern than this here. This is more of a descending triangle type pattern. And this is July 21 when everyone was calling for a 20,000 Bitcoin, a 10,000 Bitcoin, a 15,000 Bitcoin, and people were saying that Bitcoin was just dead. This is when it fell from 64,000 down to 28,000. And everyone and their cousin was talking about 20,000 Bitcoin, and people were bearish across the board. Yet we came up and did a nice run up to 69,000 from 28 that no one really saw coming. So I will say this pattern right now is prettier than this pattern for a run. Especially when you look at this is like levels. If you just box this in, it's like it rose above it and then it's back testing it, okay? As you can see, if I actually, which you don't have on that other pattern, but if I actually zoom in here a little tighter, and then we'll cover some altcoins of why I think this is a prettier pattern. If you actually take a look here, a rectangular pattern, it's sort of like you have this rectangle here, you came out of it, and then back tested it, so you're at this next little level here. So it's almost like you rose out of it, you back tested it now, and you've held support, and the 4-hourly has room to run. So we'll see if that happens. Overall, though, this is a prettier pattern than we saw in July 21. So this is July once again, but July 22, and it is a prettier pattern for a run. So we'll see what happens. We also have lots of stuff like the weekly stock RSI. With beautiful curvature. It hung around 0 here for a while, and now it's curving up out of 0 and getting some momentum. Blue over the red. Looks like it has weeks to run forward ahead unless it does a W double bottom pattern. We'll wait and see. Anyways, guys, I think Bitcoin's going to run to 26.5 to 28.29 now. So if we actually take a look at some stuff here, let's take a look at PYR. Vulcan Forged PYR. So I drew this in, I guess, a while ago. I didn't even know this was going to be here. But we have this falling wedge. And a lot of times the target when you break out of the wedge, which clearly you have, is the start of that wedge here. So if I drop a line in here, that would be a movement from where we're at now, this green line. That would be a move of roughly, before the resistance, of 55–60%. Okay, so if you want to do some sort of swing trade, you could buy a good amount of PYR where we're at now, like on KuCoin. It's a smaller market cap coin, and it could run up to the $6.50 range and have a nice movement. So you could buy in, leverage or not leverage. You could just buy it spot. Just a spot is just a normal purchase where you buy it, and then you could sell up into this range here. You got to remain patient, though, because remember, you could buy here, and it could go kind of sideways, dip a little lower, come back up, dip a little lower, and then run, okay? So you have to have some patience, possibly for a day or 2, 3, 4 days. Have a stop loss if it's leverage, obviously. But yeah, we had this descending, falling wedge here, and we've broken out from that. If I remove drawings, this pattern that we're starting to see sort of across the board here is sort of this, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders type, and we're kind of printing that right shoulder on that inverse head and shoulders there. There's also a possible cut pattern, and if you start to scoop up, that would be a handle. We're just starting to see this pattern sort of across the board. Same thing with, let's take a look at SANDBOX. And it's that same sort of pattern here. If I just remove drawings, it's a lot, you're seeing a lot of this pattern that has this sort of Batwing looking type pattern. We're seeing that on lots and lots of coins. Another one here, API3, ran all the way up to $10 back in February, so it can run when other coins are not. You can see that up there. At $1.79 right now, but again, that same type of pattern, this V-shape but it's this bat looking pattern that's definitely a recovery pattern that's saying something's going to run. And like when you look at some of this resistance, like here would be a profit taking level. So if Bitcoin does that run up to 26.5 to 28,000, Bitcoin does that and altcoins come with it. Like $3 right there is a resistance level. Let's turn on the VPVR. Yeah, that $3.10, and that range is a profit taking range. But yes, the market is getting kind of exciting because we're seeing this recovery type, and I keep calling it like bat shaped pattern, but this pattern is a beautiful recovery type pattern. So if Bitcoin runs up to that 26.5, 28, 29, entering into API3 and Curve and Mana and PYR that we just looked at, and some of these other projects. DAG is another one. The pattern isn't as pretty, but you get the point. These recovery patterns are starting to show up across the board, which is, it's actually pretty big news, to be honest, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens with Bitcoin, obviously, like always. So PYR, like I was saying, Vulcan Forge, that same similar pattern that it's kind of drawn out there. Very beautiful recovery pattern. If it were to run, obviously you see some heavy resistance, and this is on KuCoin. You see some heavy resistance at 750. That would be the top profit-taking target, and then you just have these other targets in here where you can buy in. You can buy into a project, and you can take at these targets above. We're at $4.16. You have targets like at 475, and you can just see the support and resistance, and then you can turn on the VPVR, and that'll be confluence with that. Where you can see, so I just dropped this yellow line in, and it just happens to be right when the VPR starts to roll. So that's pretty close there at $4.90. You have a little bit more resistance there that I dropped in 530, and if you can clear that and start to get some movement, and Bitcoin gets some movement, you would come all the way up to, and as you can see with the VPVR here, $7.80, and you can also see it here. So could be some massive movements for altcoins coming up here with Bitcoin, like this one, for example, from where we're at now. Even if you bought in right now, an 86% move, roughly in that neighborhood. So for example, you could buy into some PYR with a few $1,000s and get that 86% move, and it's just part of that DCAN, and then just take these profits, and that's a swing trade. It can take some days to get there. You can also leverage it, which is obviously more risky. Just showing you that these patterns are starting to heat up across the board and may have a good chance of moving with Bitcoin moving up to 26.5, 28. Matic here, Polygon, an early runner of this pattern that I just talked about for the entire video, where you have this flat line, this peak down, and you come back up. It's the same like Batwing looking type pattern. And Polygon, Matic here is a perfect example of when it starts to play out, and when it actually moves up. You get that clean cross like Curve is doing right now on the daily. That's big news. Again, Bitcoin though can definitely ruin the party. I mean, this is amazing for Matic. If Bitcoin was running, this is the start of a massive run for Polygon Matic. But Bitcoin can spoil the party like it always does because it runs the market. But right now, that's beautiful. Out of this bat-shaped type pattern, that's a recovery pattern that we're seeing across the board. So just giving you guys another perspective of what I'm seeing going on here, and these bat patterns across the board for altcoins are just beautiful. So you can definitely buy into these bat patterns and look for a nice movement, 50 to 100% on a lot of altcoins over the next week or two. So that's what we're kind of looking at. We'll see if it plays out. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Just giving you guys some ideas. You can look around at other coins and look for this pattern, but there's a lot of them. I give you some ideas in this video. You can DCA into these. You can leverage them, spot trade them, whatever you want to do. I've entered into a number of these coins, like Blocktopia and Curve and a number of these coins where I DCA'd in more for that move up, that 50 to 100% move depending on the altcoin, depending on the momentum. And I think Bitcoin will make that move up to 26.5 to 28, which will bring the altcoins with it, and that's over the next week or two. So let's just give it some time and have some more patience, because we've already been patient for months and months and months and months. So let's just give it a little bit more. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, guys, and we will catch you in the next video. See ya.